Okay. Hey friends, welcome. I got another post for you. I've had some more tests done. These tests I've had this time were on my heart because apparently when I went to the heart doctor because of I've always had this, well, not always, but for a long time, it feels like a strain from my heart to my jaw, and sometimes it really hurts. Um, just depending on the whatnot. So, like several months ago, I went and I looked. I went to the doctor. Went to a cardiologist, and by the way, he's really cute. Just so you know, and he's really good. Okay, totally explained everything. He was my dad's heart doctor, also. Totally explained everything for my dad for his pacer, and he had a heart flap murmur. So I've watched him over the last couple of years, and this guy's really good. So we went, and the initial test showed that I've had at least one heart attack. Yay! And since I haven't had any health insurance for many years, who knows when that happened? So I went and I had two tests. So far, I had a heart echo test, also known as an echocardiogram. And yes, I am looking at my notes so I pronounce it correctly. And I also had what's called a nuclear stress test. And it was pretty much a passive test. But let's do the echocardiogram. And so what that is basically it's looking at your heart size, it's your heart function, your valve function. You know, the little things in your heart that go blow blow, that let the blood flow. Okay, it also measures your heart flow and the structure of your heart. Because, and just as a side note, long time ago, I was told I had an enlarged heart, but that was from competitive swimming. Yes, under this body there is an athlete. So, or at least a swimmer. So I went and I had this. So it's pretty much non-invasive. If you've had an ultrasound for anything, for baby, for liver function, for bladder function, anything, it's pretty much the same thing. They get you disrobed, get that body part naked. They put the blue goop stuff. That's and then they get that wand and they measure around and they take pictures here and pictures there and take all these little notes and measurements and all this good kind of stuff so the doctor can see stuff. So it's basically the same thing. There are a few caveats that I would like to let you women know, and men, if you have boobs. So you got to lay on your left side, okay? And when you're laying on your left side, there's this. You're on the table, excuse me, and there's a little door that drops down. Okay, so this little door drops down right where your boob is. Okay, so you're gonna feel like you're just flopping right out there in the wind. And he makes you come all the way forward so that you're really, and I say he because I had a male technician. Some of them are women technicians, but I had a male technician. Anyway, so he makes you come forward, and then he starts measuring the heart up, down. He actually had to lift, because my boob was a little big, to get underneath the boob, to get some of that other stuff. He comes down on the side where it's kind of hanging off the table. 30 minutes max. Maybe not even that much. This guy was really fast. He was really good. So pretty comfortable test. Okay? Easy. Just the goop. Just afterwards, you gotta wipe it all off because if not, it tends to be a little sticky. Okay? So make sure you wipe it all off. And make sure you make your hair all pretty when you're going out. Okay? There are different types of echocardiogram. The one that I just got done explaining is called the Doppler. There's some other ones that are different, that measure sound waves and whatnot, but it basically all uses the same premise and the same. Okay, so you got to do that. There's really no prep; you just go in. Okay. The nuclear stress test. Okay, I'm reading my notes. So the nuclear stress test is to determine if there is an adequate blood flow during heart activity or stress. Pick up the parts that didn't have really good blood flow, and it helps guide treatment decisions with the doctor. Like if you gotta do surgery, if you gotta have a pacer, or it doesn't do the pacer, but it does if you have to have surgery, if bypass surgery and whatnot. Okay, when you have a stress test, especially the passive ones, they're going to make you not have any caffeine. They may restrict some of your medications, some of your heart medications, for a period before, and food, for a period before the test. Okay, so very important that you follow these instructions. Otherwise, you're going to stress your heart out too damn much. And you don't want to do that because anything can happen. But if you happen to have a heart attack or a problem while you're there, there is an RN along with the technician. And I have got to give a shout out to my technician, because this was a 2-day test. Okay, 1 day for the stress medications and 1 day to get a baseline resting rate. My technician was a wonderful man by the name of Greg, and he was my age. Found out maybe a little older, but oh my God, he was so nice. And I'm afraid of needles. Okay, I am petrified of needles. I have had full, blown out, meltdown, emotional, crying, sob stories over getting a shot. Okay, so needles and me don't get along. Been in healthcare for almost 40 years. Doesn't make any difference. I can cut open a person. I have a hard time giving him a shot of insulin, which is this itty bitty needle. So I have to say Greg was probably one of the least painful and least noticeable sticks that I've ever had. Because when you do have these tests, you have to be hooked up to an IV. So that's a big shout out to Greg. And he was just so nice. He kept me talking about anything that didn't have to do with the needles. And he just listened to me ramble. I mean, if this guy is married, his wife's got to keep her. So, okay. So that's great. So I spent a lot of time with him, because it takes a long time to do these stress tests. The first time was a couple hours, and that's they did the stress one first, and then the second day they did the non-stress one. But both times you still have to have an IV, and you still have to have nuclear isotopes placed into your system. Okay, it's called a radioactive tracker. It's a small amount, but you will be radioactive for at least 24 hours. And this is to really get a good picture of what's going on. The nice part about using the radioactive stuff versus anything else, like the dyes that they can use, is a lot of people are allergic to the dyes. My grandma, grandpa, and my uncle all died on the table. They got resuscitated, but they died. They stopped, heart stopped, everything stopped using the damn dyes. So I do not use any dyes, and I tell everybody that has their genetics down my family tree, no dyes. Just don't put yourself in that situation. Use the radioactive isotopes. Hardly any side effects whatsoever. In fact, I've never heard of really any side effects because it's a short-lived radioisotopes out of your body in 24 hours. It's no big deal. They put a medication in that stresses your heart while you're there and you're laying down on this little itty bitty table. I'm a big person. So I'm not a real big person, but I'm a big person. I'm a little overflow, okay? Just so you know. So you're on this little itty bitty table. You have to be flat. So you got one little incline under your knees because you're on your back. So if you have back problems, you have hip problems, you have knee problems, yeah, this test is going to hurt like hell. Bring some Tylenol, bring somebody to help you walk after you're done. But, okay, so you're laying on the table, and then, of course, you got your gown, you got your bra off, and all that good kind of stuff. You're laying on the table. They start the IV. You're laying on the table, and then you have to put your hands up above your head. Okay? And as you see, there's a little bit of stress with breathing. So you got to breathe through the whole thing. Make sure you're breathing. So you breathe. Okay? They have a little thing up there that you can hold on to. Yeah. And the table slides into the machine. Mine was round yet square. It was square on the inside where the imaging things were going to take pictures of. And it would move and take pictures, okay, over a 20, maybe 25-minute process. And the outside of it was round. Got to keep your arms above your head. Can't talk. So just breathe. Fortunately, Greg put on some really nice jazz. Okay? Love jazz because I have no idea how long the songs are. So the time just kind of goes by for me. So you have that, and that's pretty much what it is. The second test for this is the same procedure, except they don't put the medicine in to stress your heart out. It's just a baseline, okay? Just to see how things go. Just nice baseline. And this will tell your doctor quite a bit about your heart, okay? Some of the things that I want to give you a heads up for those of us who have arthritis, the back pain and the hips, the sciaticas, the knees that don't work. If you have a walker, bring it. If you have a cane, bring it. And if they say, do you need a wheelchair to get to your car? Go ahead and take it. Because I want to tell you, after almost an hour with the first test, laying on that damn table, and then the time with my hands above my head, I couldn't move. I couldn't move my hips. I couldn't move my back. And my knees were telling pretty much, kiss off. Nobody was happy. And it was extraordinarily painful. Just trying to move. Almost fell off the table. Greg saved me. Yay! And he said, do you want a wheelchair? In fact, he asked me 5 times. And I probably should have taken him up on it, but I'm very stubborn. If I can do it physically, I try to do it, especially if I have an audience, which means out in public. Okay? So, yeah. Take the help. Don't be like me. Just take the help. So, okay, so you have the things. Oh, girlfriend. Sorry, she's barking. Got a squirrel outside. Girlfriend. No talking. I have to put a picture in here for girlfriend for you guys. But she's over here. She wants to say hi. But anyhow, the recovery time for this is pretty much non-existent. But I was tired. Mainly from the pain. So I came home, took my Tylenol, my pain meds that I was allowed to take, drank a good amount of water, and put the heating pad on, went to sleep, took a nice nap. So, but as far as They say the sensations of it, of being dizzy or anything like that. I didn't have any of those. Didn't have any of those kind of reactions from the medication that stresses out your heart. So, next steps. I get to go back to the doctor, and he gets to tell me all the results of this. But if you've been around doctors a lot, this takes a while. But I've already got the appointment made. It is, it is the day after Election Day, November 6th. So hopefully I'll have an update for you guys around then about what's going on with my heart. So, and I'm going to try to put up a little quiz so you guys can kind of play around with it. All right? So do me a favor, just subscribe. Thank you. Go ahead and subscribe, like, but most importantly, comment. I need to know what you guys would like to know. One, about my journey and my health journey. How it's going with losing weight. Not good. How it's going with me being able to exercise and rehabilitate myself so that I can start moving again. Anything you want to know about therapy, rehab therapies, I got it. I'll tell you. Anything you want to know about nursing homes, no problem. I'll find it out if I don't already know it. Assisted livings, independent livings, the things that you need to look for. The things that you need to look for if you're going to keep somebody home that has dementia. I'm very good at. Okay? So, what do you want to know? Let me know so that I can put it up here. I really want to get a community going, and I really want to be able to help people again. I can't do therapy anymore. My body's not going to let me do it. And I can't find any rehab companies that will let me be a rehab manager without trying to kill myself and do 4 hours straight of therapy, plus the 6 hours that's required to do a manager's job. So, yeah. I really want to help people. Let me help you. So, love you guys. See you later. Ciao.